It's time!
What is up, guys? Welcome to the Edge DFS. My name's Tyson Smith, joined by Ellie Hernandez. Ellie, we've got some tight end issues for Baltimore. Some huge injury news we needed to discuss. We're going to talk about Mark Andrews, whether he's in or out, and how to handle that. We're going to build lineups a little bit longer today because the pricing on this slate is a little bit tight. There's not a ton of value, although if Mark Andrews is out, that's going to reveal some nice plays for us. So, Ellie, how you doing, man? How did Monday Night Football treat you, man? I faded Mac Jones. I only had like 1 or 2 lineups with him out of like 100. And I was there all night, man. I was this close. Man. Didn't work out. Still broke even-ish. How did you do?
I was neither here nor there. I was just sitting kind of breaking even the whole night, and spectacularly, I broke even. So it is what it is. You know, it happens. I wasn't really scripted for a Bears blowout, you know.
Yeah.
But that's what the NFL is.
Yeah, any given Sunday, man. Justin Fields at captain, Bears defense, Cairo Santos, Khalil Herbert, and you got 2 Patriots, Jacoby Myers and Ramondre Stevenson. I actually had a Devontae Parker captain lineup, which is incredibly random. I think I just had everything perfect in the flex. But Devontae Parker, I needed that 1 catch on that bullshit last drive. That would have put me in first place. That 1 catch on the sidelines. If he made that catch, I would be a lot happier today. But hey, we're moving on. Let's talk about this particular matchup. Baltimore, road dogs, Tampa Bay, home favorites, 45.5 total. The ownership skewed heavily towards Tampa Bay. I get it. There's just a little bit, there's a few more players that were comfortable playing on that side of the ball. But Ellie, man, look at these odds. With Tampa Bay being at home, this is almost a pick 'em. And for a team with two teams with not such great defenses, this is kind of a low total. What are your thoughts on that? Why is it such a low total?
Yeah, man, I think the total is probably in line for what we've been seeing for some of these bullshit primetime games. I think we've had, one game that was actually scoring points, and that was the Saints-Cardinals.
Yeah.
And, both of these teams, they've had some interesting struggles. I think it's going to be easy for both of them to stall out. And I can definitely see the under hitting on this. But also keep in mind, we saw what happened with Miami and Baltimore. When you have bad defenses who are giving up chunk plays, you can also turn into a blowout really quick. So I'm obviously taking a very clear stand here, but I do think that the under is most likely to hit here.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, there's some narrative behind this game for sure. Tampa Bay has lost 2 straight games to Pittsburgh and Carolina last week. They unbelievably lost to Carolina. You could chalk a little bit of that up to coach being fired from Carolina. They're extra hyped up. They just traded their best player. Some of these guys need to come out and play extra hard. But there's no excuse for that at all. And Tom Brady's not loving his life right now. He lost his supermodel wife. He's probably living in an apartment somewhere. And he's not doing well, man. So to me, this feels like a narrative game for him, man. This feels like Tom Brady comes out and throws 3 touchdowns. But also this kind of feels like a narrative Baltimore game. Everything on paper to me feels, points towards Baltimore. I really think that Baltimore should win this game. But my heart, man, I think Tampa Bay can win this. What do you think?
Right. We just seen Tom Brady do this for 20 years. When you think the team is just, dog shit or whatever, like they get a primetime game, everyone's watching it, and he's like, yeah, fuck you. You guys should remember who I am, right? So that's the problem. But I don't know, man. I'm excited for this game. Let's just say that. As a fan, yeah. I am excited for this game. I think it's an interesting turning point for both teams. Right? On the Baltimore side, this game could probably determine a lot what happens with Lamar Jackson, John Harbaugh, and really the Ravens' future too, right? They're pretty much in the hole if they lose this. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think Tampa Bay wins. So
it's a big game for both sides, man. Huge game. All right, let's get into our injuries.
Yeah, just pain. It was pain everywhere.
All right, so there's a huge injury report here. So we'll start with the team with the better graphic on Twitter. Mark Andrews, questionable. He's a DNP through Wednesday. So today, we're recording this Wednesday night. He did not practice this week. To me, that signifies there's a good chance he just doesn't play. But there's also a 50-50 shot that he does play. So we're going to have to talk about how to handle that. Rashad Bateman, full practice, he's questionable. Calais Campbell's out, and then you got guys like Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, and Brandon Stevens, cornerbacks. They are questionable, but there was full practice for them. Anyways, what jumps out to you here? And obviously Gus Edwards being limited, but he probably will play. What jumps out to you?
On the defensive side of the ball, I'm looking at Calais Campbell. Him being out, he's a big a run stopper, so that I think opens up a little bit more opportunity for Leonard Fournette. And then Josh Bynes, that actually might help the Baltimore defense. He probably shouldn't be starting for your team anyway. But no, I don't mean that. That's me.
Former Cardinal.
But look, missing a starting middle linebacker or a starting linebacker and starting run stopping defensive end is kind of a big deal. So, but yeah, obviously Mark Andrews and Rashad Bateman matter. Thanks for watching, guys.
Everybody's like, what's your beef with Josh Bynes, bro? He's a former Cardinal. That's why. All right.
Yeah.
And now let's look at Tampa Bay. So Cameron Braid obviously out, Carlton Davis out, Mike Evans, he's always on the injury list. He's limited. He's going to play. Russell Gage is out though, so that's kind of interesting. Julio Jones is questionable. He's limited in practice. To me, Julio Jones is once again a complete dart throw. We kind of know what we'll get from him if he's at 100% health and without the top two wide receivers. We saw that earlier this year, but we don't really know how he's going to be with those guys in. I just don't trust him. He's a complete dart throw. Anybody else jump out to you here? Sean Murphy Bunting and Antoine Winfield being out, that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Coke Heift. I actually just wanted to say his name. So that's really not important. No, I mean, look, Cameron Brate being out is kind of interesting. I think we've kind of seen the other guy, I can't remember his name, kind of fill the tight end role. But I think we open up a little bit more some of the backup tight ends, and we're going to need to find some value here. So that's a bit interesting. But Russell Gage probably shouldn't be on the team anyways. He's the fourth string wide receiver. Like, you should trade him for like a fourth round pick or something.
I know, right? All right. Well, let's get into this breakdown.
Break it down.
All right. So Lamar Jackson's 11.8K. As expensive as usual. He fell off a little bit in the middle of the season. I think that has to do a little bit with the team and the injuries. By the way, what's up with this the training staff for the Ravens? This team is just injured perpetually. Every single game, every year, the past few seasons, they've been absolutely injured. How have they not just fired this entire staff, or have they? Did I miss that? Because they should be.
When I think of their practice field, I think of that scene from The Dark Knight Rises when Hines Ward's returning the kickoff for a touchdown and just crumbling behind him. Like, they lost 3 running backs before the season started last year.
Yeah.
And Marcus Peters. Like,
yeah.
And then 14 other people. I have no idea. Like, anyways, guys, we're really trying to go through this quickly, but
we're talking football.
Like
it's just
game, so it's fun to talk about.
Yeah, it's gonna go over. We're talking football. There's nothing we can do about it. Lamar Jackson, 11.8K. Tom Brady, 10K. So look, we've been, I built a little bit before this. I like to wait, to get into the real builds so that we could show you like kind of our first reaction and kind of how to adapt. But I had to build a little bit, and it's just impossible to get these two guys in unless you're going to completely punt at captain. Or fade like Lenny and Evans. It's hard to get both of these quarterbacks in. Where are you going tonight?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think I am gonna try and risk a little bit of naked Lamar, and then run back with 5 bucks, or maybe like a 2-4 stack with him and captain. But and then maybe I'm gonna have to get a little bit different somewhere else. But the upside that Lamar has in a game like this is just too much for me, right? Like it's prime time. If you don't play him at captain, he's going to rush for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I've learned my lesson.
And throw for 250 and 2 touchdowns, right? So
yeah, I've learned my lesson at this point.
So,
there's no reason to not play him.
Yeah, like what did we do with Jalen Hurts a couple weeks ago? We played him at captain. When these rushing quarterbacks have upside, like let's not forget this man won an MVP award not too long ago.
Yeah.
So anyways, guys, you should be playing Lamar Jackson and probably a captain. But I'm going to try and get as much Tom Brady as I can. Now, I do think that he is potentially fadeable. And I say that like kind of eating my words at the same time, right? Because we know how Tom can be. But he's been struggling of late. And 11 points might not cut it at his price tag. So he's gonna have to connect with Mike Godwin or Jesus Christ, I was going to call him Mike Godwin and Chris Evans and the Avengers out there at wide receiver. But obviously he's going to have to get a connection going, and then we're going to have to figure out how we're going to get to the wide receivers and which one's going to get the most points.
We're going to spend a little bit more time on running backs and tight ends today, more so on running backs because, man, this is a very run-heavy team on Baltimore here. They ran the ball 44 times last week. And I mean, obviously, this is a run-first type team, but they only threw the ball 16 times. So those carries have to go somewhere. Gus Edwards, 7,600. He's questionable with knee problems. The guy's coming off of a knee injury, a year-long knee injury. Will he be at full strength? I have absolutely no clue. Kenyon Drake was brought in, 4,600. Justice Hill has been getting snaps at 2,400. And you have Patrick Ricard on the field 75% of the time as a fullback. There's a lot of guys to talk about here. If you run the ball 44 times, obviously it's probably working for you. So if they find success, they're going to continue to run the ball. But 44 times amongst basically 2.5, 3 guys, basically, everybody's going to get a shot at the ball this week, don't you think? And how are you handling Gus Edwards?
Yeah, man. I don't know. I'm going to be kind of hesitant on Gus Edwards. Like, we all know what he's capable of. We saw it on Sunday, but he had 18 carries, man. That's just a lot for me. It's a short week. He just came back from a major knee injury. Like, it was serious, right? Like that Bane collapsing field, serious knee injury. So look, I think the safest bet here is maybe run a couple lineups to captain if you think that he's got that high upside potential, and then probably not worry about him at flex at his price tag. If he just has a middling score, I think you're going to need to have a different option there. Just everybody else is just too high priced to play a $7,600 guy who gets 8 points.
Yeah, I mean, so Buccaneers we're not looking good last week against Carolina. They allowed 173 rush yards. You got to think they're going to come out a little bit pissed off and embarrassed after that. But this team is just so dominant on the ground. I think you're safe to take a stand and get over the field on some of these guys. For me, I might take a stand. Look, I love Gus Edwards. I've always loved him. I've always been the guy that's putting him in when he's like 5% owned. But if Gus Edwards is like in the 25, 30% own range, I might take a stand and just completely fade him. Simply because, hey, the guy's got a knee injury. They're rushing him back kind of at this point.
It just gets some Justice Hill. I really do think that we're going to see a little bit of him, and his price tag is nice, so he might give us a little bit of flexibility.
Yeah, I agree. Now, none of those guys on the Baltimore side, by the way, are really getting a lot of targets out of the backfield. So if you're expecting some, fourth quarter garbage time receptions, you might not get those. Leonard Fournette on the Tampa Bay side, 8,800. He's priced down quite a bit. He didn't have the best of weeks last week. He was pretty much shut down. Rachaad White, 4,800. Rachaad White's getting worked into this offense more. We did I think the only other Tampa Bay game we did was the week 1, and we were kind of high. Was it week 1? I don't know. Rachaad White had a touchdown in that game, and we were kind of all over it. Yeah, that was week 4 against KC. At that point, Rachaad White was just barely starting to get more run. Now he's kind of getting like upwards of 40% of the snaps. What are your thoughts on Rachaad White at 4,800? And for me personally, I think the way that this team gets going is establish that run game, get Leonard Fournette dominating on the ground, and help Tom Brady out a little bit in the pass game, and just get a run game going so they can actually throw down the field and not have these guys with their ears tucked back. So Rachaad White, 4,800. I kind of like him, man. What do you think?
Yeah, look, I'm gonna be honest. I think you've talked me into him a little bit more than I was initially thinking. He looks a little bit pricey for me at 4,800. But as we kind of look through this, we're seeing it's gonna be tough building. So we might need a guy around his price range that has that touchdown upside, and he is getting enough work. I do think that he's gonna get a couple more goal line carries. I think it was that same game that he could have had a second touchdown, but something happened. He got stopped at the goal line, and then they put Lenny in.
Yep.
That could be revisionist history, but But I think I'm hoping for him. I have plenty of exposure to him in best ball too, so I am cautiously optimistic about him.
My thoughts
But I'm with you on Lenny, man. I think he's also a great captain option at 8,800. This is easily a game where he has 80 yards, 7 receptions for 80 yards, and 2 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah, I'm usually not a huge Leonard Fournette guy. Obviously, he has his upside, but a lot of times I'll take the bold choice and say, you know what, I think he's only going to get you 9 fantasy points or 5 fantasy points, and I fade him. I just take that stand, and it doesn't work out for me always, but in this particular case, I'm interested in going above the field on him. I really do think they need to focus on getting this run game working, and with Tom Brady, with all the issues he's got going on, whether it's off the field, on the field, he's got a lot of problems. Try to help him out a little bit and get the damn ball on the ground and help him out. All right, enough with the running backs. Let's go to wide receiver quickly. So look, Chris Godwin's at 9K. I think he's going to be incredibly popular because he's a lot cheaper. He's $2,000 cheaper than Mike Evans. But for me, Mike Evans at 11K, he is one of these guys you can always trust on him getting at least opportunity for touchdowns and targeted in the end zone, not just the red zone, but the end zone. He's like touchdown wise, he is the GOAT. Like this guy is incredible at wide receiver scoring touchdowns. And sometimes that's all you need. You need 3 receptions for 2 touchdowns and 50 yards maybe. At 11K, I'm going to be super heavy at him at captain. It makes it hard to build, but I'm very interested in him at captain. And Chris Godwin at captain, I think, is very, very viable. All these other guys, to me, I'm just not super interested. Ellie, how are you treating these guys? Go down the list. Talk to me about your boy Julio. Are you interested in him?
I'll start at the top here, man. Chris Godwin, I love him. I'm right with you, man. I think you throw him in at the captain option. I think they start running the ball with Leonard Fournette and just getting back to some nice play action offense here. I think that's going to open up some big plays up the field for Chris and Mike Evans. And I'm just going to echo your take here. I wish we had some differing opinions, but I don't even know if I want any of these guys. Right? Julio 5,400 is just too expensive for the risk. I absolutely would rather go with Rachaad White. Right? Like I'd rather pay down and go over to Rachaad White. That's that. Scotty, Rashad, Jalen Darden, like Tyler Durden, Fight Club, whatever. These guys, they're probably not even going to see the field. They might be on special teams. Rashad Perriman, if Julio is inactive, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, these other receivers, there's just nothing really to talk about. Rashad Perriman last week, 16% of the snaps. Scotty Miller, 12. Darden, 4.5. Darden's a special teams guy, and these other guys are special teams guy. It starts with Mike Evans, Godwin. If Julio Jones is in, you can take a couple flyers on him, and maybe I might have a couple of him at captain and maybe less in the flex because he could score a couple touchdowns. It's totally possible, but I'd rather play him. He's a boomer bust guy. All right, so Baltimore wide receivers. Not super excited to talk about this. You got Rashad Bateman at 7K. Devin Duvernay, 6,400. He's been in the system for a few years now. He's been on the team kind of the longest out of all these guys. He's got the most experience. You're talking about Devin Duvernay is the number 1 wide receiver on this team, despite the fact that Rashad Bateman is the most talented and was brought in as that number 1 guy. But hasn't been consistent and he's been injured. So at 7K, I think there's some upside for Rashad Bateman, big time, especially if Mark Andrews is out. If Mark Andrews is out, I think you prioritize Bateman and Duvernay and you sprinkle in a couple of these other kind of scrub 3rd, 4th string guys because there's just going to be more opportunity with all those targets that go to Andrews going to somebody else. So, Ellie, talk to me here. Thoughts on Duvernay? I like Duvernay more than Bateman because Bateman's got a foot injury, man. He's a wide receiver. That's kind of important.
Yeah. Look, if I'm not going to be high on Bateman too much. I do prefer Devin Duvernay here at 6,400. He is the wide receiver 1 on this team, and I think it's largely due to the fact that he's been healthier than Rashad Bateman. And let's not disregard the fact that he's been on the team for a while, right?
Yeah.
So he does have that connection with Lamar
already. 3rd
already.
season. Yeah.
So I like him 6,400. Again, I don't want to commit to anything until we see the builds, right? Because I got to have Mike Evans or Chris Godwin, got to have Tom and Lamar, and then from there we got to see what kind of flexibility we have. But as far as these other guys go, I think the only guy I'd be willing to look at is Demarcus Robinson, right? He's just not been connecting with Lamar. Like there's a chemistry issue. My brother's a fan of the Ravens, so I have to watch some of their games when he comes over.
Yeah.
And he's they've just been missing each other. So he does have that big play upside. Again, at $2,800, we're going to need to find some value that we're comfortable playing so that we can pay up for some of these studs tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have to mention Deshaun Jackson, obviously, here. He was signed off the street. You're talking about Deshaun Jackson in probably his final opportunity on any team. We saw him last year. He got a couple of long plays. We all remember that was Oakland, right? Vegas, when he had that crazy catch and then he ran backwards. Whatever. He's still pretty fast. Is he faster than Devin Duvernay? I don't think so at this age. But Deshaun Jackson, he's 2K. And maybe if you're doing a Millie Maker bullet, you throw him in the flex and hope he gets a 60-yard touchdown because somebody wasn't paying attention. That's really the only thing to mention here. James Proche at 600, probably want to sprinkle in one or two lineups. $600, and especially if Mark Andrews is out, maybe there's one or two extra targets his way. All right, so tight ends here. Let's spend a little bit of time on this. Mark Andrews, questionable, 9,200. He's in a good spot here. He had a bad week last week. What did he have? 2 targets, no receptions. Absolutely sucked ass. They only threw the ball 14 times last week, I think. It was 13 or 14. Andrews, if he plays, you're going to have to play him. I don't care how hurt he is. If he's active and if he's starting, you got to play him. If he doesn't play, if he's not active, Isaiah Likely at 1,600 and Josh Oliver and Nick Boyle, they're all in play.
Yeah, so I agree with you. Obviously, play Mark Andrews if he's active. He's probably not going to have 0 points or 0.2 points again. He's more likely to go for 15 over than he is for under 10. Let's just put it that way. But I think the one thing that I might disagree with you on, I don't think you need Mark Andrews to be out to like Isaiah Likely. At 1,600, man, I'm going to have a very large amount of him. They love this guy. They want to work him into the system. Again, I think last week was just an outlier because you had 14 total attempts, but they're going to need to do something to get going, especially if they want to stay in a game that has Tom Brady, Chris Godwin, and Mike Evans in it. They're going to need to score touchdowns, man. And I think that's going to be the mindset. So I think they're going to work in some of their guys that they came in to make big plays, and that Isaiah Likely is one of them. Yeah. I'm not as interested in Josh Oliver and Nick Boyle, regardless of whether or not Andrews is active. Isaiah Likely is my guy here, man.
All right, let's go to the Tampa Bay side here. So Cade Otton is the guy now. That's where we're at here in the world. Cade Otton is the starting tight end for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Tom Brady, his quarterback. He's looking pretty good, though, man. 5K. He's getting some targets. Last week, he had 5 targets, 4 receptions, 64 yards. He's getting some run. And I do like him at 5K. I think people are going to not know who the hell he is. And he's going to come in under 20% owned. I do think we can kind of focus on getting some Cade Otton, some O'Keefe if he's active. Kyle Rudolph might not be active. I'm not interested in him at all. He's getting 10% of the snaps. He's not getting any opportunity. Of course, as I say that, he's going to score a touchdown in this game. So, comment down below if you think he's going to score a touchdown. But Cade Otton is my guy here at 5K. What do you think?
Yeah, man, I love Cade Otton. I think at 5K, he's going to give us some much-needed discount. But again, I think we don't want to get too married to any of these guys until we really see what the builds look like, right? I think we're going to have to punt and be open to playing guys like Kyle Rudolph and Isaiah Likely so that we can jam in 4 studs. But Cade Otton could also make for an interesting captain play. 5K, we love playing tight ends at the captain spot. So he ends up with his first couple 2 touchdown game in the NFL. Might be fine. 5K at captain.
If Mark Andrews is out, first of all, everybody's going to flock to the other side of the ball for Baltimore on the tight ends, and Cade Otton will probably get no ownership. Even a guy like O'Keefe. I think this is the perfect opportunity for Tampa Bay tight ends to score a touchdown or 2 and just completely screw everyone. So don't forget about these guys. If you hate them, fine. Make a bold choice, fade them. But Kate Otten, I think you have to keep him on your radar, and I think you got to be above the field. All right, so kickers and defense. All right, so you got Justin Tucker. This guy can absolutely score points. He can kick multiple 50-yard field goals. Anything under 40 yards, he's gonna make. In this game, the total is not super low, but it's not great. So how do we handle these kickers? We've seen lately, you just almost gotta always have one kicker in your lineup lately to even compete and even try to get that first place. I think we gotta go kickers again here. And Justin Tucker is a very interesting option.
Yeah, man. I mean, I still have that memory of that image burned in my mind of Ryan Suckup at captain last year winning a showdown tournament, right? So look, I think both kickers are going to be in play. I don't know if you're going to need both of them as per usual, but I do think that both teams are going to be likely to take their points when they're in field goal range, right? These are elite offenses or elite quarterbacks. So you take points when you can get them. Now, yeah, I don't know, man. You probably play a lineup with Justin Tucker at captain. I think I might be willing to do that just because his nickname's Legatron, man. Like, come on.
Yeah, Tucker is the most accurate kicker in the NFL history. Don't forget about him because 2 50-yard field goals might absolutely screw your night up in this particular game, and a couple extra points. So defense, Buccaneers 3,400, Ravens 4,400. I'm not personally very interested in either of these defenses. We know that the Ravens can absolutely put pressure on Tom Brady. We know that Buccaneers defense. We know about Todd Bowles. We know what he's capable of. He's blitzing a lot, so there's opportunity for sacks. But I personally see that as an advantage for the Ravens. We know as Cardinals fans that defense can get exposed sometimes, and I think that that's better for the Ravens. I think that's better for Lamar Jackson to play a very aggressive defense because they can make these bold moves and throw the ball down the field. Are you interested in any defense? Are you going to be with the field? Are you going to say, screw it, I'm fading the defenses because I want to get some leverage? How are you doing this?
Yeah, I probably won't play either defense. Well, specifically not the Ravens. I may have a little interest in the Buccaneers. They just got embarrassed by a team that decided it was trying to tank. Like, I don't know, maybe that was Roger Goodell, like in cahoots with Tom Brady to make tanking bad. I don't know, but look, I feel like they're going to come out embarrassed that they got rushed on for 174 yards by Chuba Hubbard and fucking Deontay Foreman, right? So yeah, like, come on, man, they're going to come out, they're going to go, and I think there's a script in which they can take a couple to the house, right? These are explosive defenses that Todd Bowles coaches, and they will take some to the house. So I probably talked way too much about a defense that I may have 5% of.
All right, let's go to our Crown Their Ass segment here.
Now, if you want to crown them, then crown their ass.
It's our favorite captain on DraftKings for tournaments. Clearly, that's not Damian Harris on the left there, but you get the point. There's photos. It'll be okay. Gus Edwards, captain option. Are you focused on getting a lot of captain and a lot of flex? Are you kind of focusing more on getting Edwards in the captain spot just in case if he gets another 2-touchdown game?
Yeah, man, I'm just looking at Gus Edwards in that captain spot for a 2-touchdown game, right? I mean, like, he could also be my fade if we were going to say something, right? Because look, he probably will be under 30% owned. He'll probably be under 5% captain ownership. So I do think he is a fine leverage play at the captain position. But tell me about your guy Harris there.
Mike Harris, aka Mike Evans. He's a touchdown machine. He's going to get targeted in the red zone. He's going to get targeted down the field. He dropped a huge 75-yard touchdown last week. That's not going to happen ever again in his career, most likely. That's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. I think they rebound. I think Harris here has 2 touchdowns at the captain spot, and I'm going to have him in the flex a lot, along with Godwin. So what does that mean? That means I'm probably going to have a lot of Tom Brady. All right, let's go to our fade.
We couldn't do diddly poo.
Ellie, you're not taking a bold stand. I totally understand that. I'm sure you're not interested in doing another CEH fade with two touchdowns. I agree with you. Me personally, I'm probably just going to fade the defenses altogether. If both defenses are coming in around 20% and no defensive touchdown is scored or no team gets 4 or 5 sacks, it's doubtful that they're going to make the optimal, even though we've seen a lot of defensive make the optimal, especially on Thursday Night Football. So I'm aware of that. I'm aware of the risk, but I'm taking a stand in order to get some leverage. That's the only reason I would fade them. And look, to be honest, it's probably not a great, they're probably not popping on the optimizers as much for this particular matchup. All right. You want to go lineups, dude? You want to start building here? Let's get to it. All right.
Yeah, let's do it.
So here is the Opto. This is, you click a button and this is what it gives you. The calculator has spoken. Mark Andrews at captain. If he plays Isaiah Likely, wow, hey, 2 tight end lineup. You got Ryan Suckoff, Godwin, Brady, and Lamar. Now, there's not going to be a single situation where I don't have Lamar in my lineups. I'm just not going to do it. I'm going to put him in, probably 30% in the captain, 70% in the flex. If Lamar has a terrible game, then whatever, I'll move on to the next game. So what do we want to start with? Do you want to do a Lamar Jackson captain and see what we can work with? Because building is not fun.
Yeah, man. Let's start with the Lamar captain. I want to see if it's possible to just do a 1-5.
All right, let's do it.
So let's throw in Tom Brady, and you want to throw in Mike Evans too? Just see where we're at.
We're screwed is probably where we're at. You probably want to do a Rashad White or some or one of the, like a Kate Otten and Rashad White if we want to go kind of middle of the road. But still, that leaves us punting on the last spot here. So, what do you want to do? Do you want to go punt first?
Let's go Rashad White.
All right, Rashad White.
And then
6,500, 3,200 a spot. Do you want to do kicker and then punt at probably what, around 2,000?
Yeah, let's see where that puts us. I mean, I think that puts us in a nice, 2-4 zone where you throw
2-4
in,
zone,
or go with suck up.
Yeah, or you can do suck up. Yeah, let's
3-3.
actually let's try suck off here. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. Sorry. He's actually a little bit cheaper, so 2,700. So it doesn't quite get you DeMarcus Robinson, but you got Isaiah Likely if you wanted to do the 2-2 or the 2-4. That's not bad, especially if Mark Andrews is out. That's viable. I mean, to me, I would want to get Lamar Jackson with one of his running backs. That would be my idea, because I don't think people are going to do that.
What happens if you take out Mike Evans and you go down to Chris Godwin?
I think a lot of people are going to be doing this. When I was doing my builds, I just couldn't find lineups with Evans that I loved, so I ended up going to Chris Godwin, and I was able to fill in that last spot with a decent amount of salary, 4,700. You can get a Kenyon Drake, so Lamar and Kenyon Drake. You can get a Ravens defense if you wanted to go crazy. You could get Justin Tucker, 2 kickers. You can do a lot here. This might be kind of the way to go, is do a 2-4 or a 1-5 onslaught with Lamar at captain. That might be the way to get different, or just leave a lot on the table. So with this 4,700 left, you could just go down to Likely or something and leave a lot on the table. I don't know that I'm going to do as much of that, but if you think of most people, when they try to get different in these with these popular captains, they just leave money on the table. Well, think about your roster construction, think about your overall lineup build, and think about how other people are going to be building. They're probably not doing these 1-5s or 2-4s.
Let's do Lamar, Tom, Mike Evans, and then let's do 3 Baltimore Ravens.
Okay.
3 more.
Mike Evans. Let's assume that Mark Andrews is active. Can we get him in this lineup? Probably not. We probably got to do a $200 guy or something.
No, throw in Likely.
Okay.
And don't fight me, man. And then throw in Josh Oliver or Nick Boyle. Like, I don't care. I think that's fine.
Well, hey,
I mean,
it's
you
crazy
can even
shit.
try like Kylan Wallace, something like that.
Yeah. Well, we can't quite get James Proche, but yeah. Interesting. Let's not do Mark Andrews. Let's go Isaiah Likely instead, assuming that he's out. And even if he's not out, this is not a bad idea. Let's go 1 kicker. So what's our lineup here? You want to go 2-4 again, or what do you want to do here? 3-3?
Yeah, throw in Tucker.
All right, Tucker, 5,700.
And then what?
So I mean, you could do a Julio Jones here if he's active, or hey, Kate Otten. 3-3. You got you got
Kenyon
Likely
Drake.
and Auden. Can you do Kenyon Drake? Oh yeah, you can do Kenyon Drake or Rashad White. You could do Rashad White. You could do Kenyon Drake. You can do a lot of things. You can put 2 kickers in there, whatever you want to do. All right, let's go with a Mike Evans captain here. Let's hit optimize and see what happens. The classic 3 tight end lineup. This has got to get you excited here, Ellie. You're probably going to enter this, right?
Yeah, I'll probably answer that lineup in every contest 5 times.
All right, well, let's build our own here. So we want to fade Tom Brady and go with a guy like Lenny in this lineup.
Let's do it, and then let's go Lamar, and you can just go ahead and lock in Likely for me.
Okay, so just to talk about this for a second, I don't think you have to have Tom Brady with Mike Evans. I don't think you have to with him as the captain. Lock in Lamar, yes, of course. Now, where are we going now? Do you want to go? Are you going Mark Andrews here?
Yeah, let's go Mark Andrews, and then throw in Isaiah Likely, man. I want to see where we're at here.
Isaiah Likely. That's 2,100 left. Who does that get us? That gets us
Josh Oliver, Ed Oliver,
Ed Oliver, Josh Oliver. There you go. Hey, that was pretty close to the optimal that we just built. Instead of just Brady instead of Fournette.
Yeah, there we go.
All right, let's go Chris Godwin here, right?
Let's do it. I want to try something a little bit different here. Go ahead and throw in Lamar. We love Lamar, obviously.
Yep.
But I want to put in Tom Brady and Mike Evans. Let's just see how much money we have left.
Let me guess. Isaiah Likely?
and Ed Oliver. Oliver Twist. Josh Oliver.
It's the same lineup almost. Josh Oliver.
Except we got Mike Evans this time.
Mike Evans. So you could, let's go down some of these value plays here that you could rotate in. So there's obviously Ricard, and I know you can't see that, sorry. Ricard, Brashad Perriman, Proche, Keyshawn Vaughn, Josh Oliver, Nick Boyle. There's all those kind of guys. You don't have to use Josh Oliver in all these lineups. All right. So
and even from this, you can go from Isaiah Likely up to Justice Hill if you'd like, and then rotate those same pieces out again because you have that same salary flexibility.
Yeah. All right. Who do you want to build with next?
Let's do a Gus Edwards captain, just so I don't seem like a total douchebag for that choice. Gus Edwards, yeah. I mean, that's
Rashad
not a terrible
Bateman,
lineup, but
likely. All right, let's build our own. Obviously, Lamar.
yeah, and then let's go Brady, Evans, Godwin if we can. Let's get both of them.
No, we definitely can.
Okay. You know what? Let's just go Isaiah Likely and Justice Hill. We should be able to do that, right?
Actually, 4,200.
Justin Tucker.
We could do Justin Tucker. All right.
Hey, look, man.
4-2.
I don't hate that lineup. Like, why not? Like,
Yeah.
If Gus Edwards is the optimal captain, I mean, that's probably the lineup it'll be, right?
Yeah. All right. Let's find a lineup where we can get Lamar, Brady, and just 2 guys. So
let's start with that. You want to put them in the flex?
Yeah. Lamar, Brady, Godwin, Evans. So
Can you get Tucker a captain?
Dude. Oh, can we do it? I can't believe we're doing this. 2,200.
And then
Same old
Likely.
shit. Isaiah Likely. Oh man, this is a million maker fucking lineup, man. Oh God.
Do suck up a captain real quick. I want to see what that extra savings gives us from Likely. I think we get Justice Hill. Yeah,
2,500. It gets us Justice Hill, and then Isaiah Likely.
Yeah,
man.
Look, guys, this will probably be chalkier than you would expect. Those lineups with these kickers at 3% captain ownership, it's probably that exact lineup. Like, if you're not doing that with it, then you're probably not maximizing the use of it.
All right, forgive us. We had some sort of technical difficulties behind the scenes here, so if it feels choppy or if you're wondering why the hell Ellie's dark, I don't know. We can't describe it. Who knows what the hell's going on here? So Ellie, talk to me. What do you think is happening in this game, man? Can Brady win this game? Can we get a role reversal? I seem to think that that's what's going to happen, but you seem to think Broncos. I've been.
We've been conditioned to think the Broncos are playing in prime time,
always
which I think
Broncos.
they are on Monday or so.
Oh,
No, they're
God.
playing. They're playing Jacksonville in London, so we're gonna make. That's what the British get, right?
Yeah, that's what they get.
That's.
It's still an island game, technically. All right, Ravens. You think the Ravens are going to win this?
I think they can win this. I think this is more of a return to form for Tampa Bay, at least defensively. I don't know if Tom Brady's ready to get there yet. He's still got to handle his Giselle situation. So, but like now we have a whole different narrative with Tom Brady. Like I don't want to. Like this is a dumbass point to close on, but like now he's literally given up his entire family for football. So like the one guy that you didn't want to come back with an extra chip on his shoulder, like now he has that fucking chip. So. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like he's been to, 20% of all Super Bowls. So you just have to be like prepared for him to turn it on at any point, man.
All right, so your low-owned guy that's going to score is obviously Isaiah Likely, right?
Bro, I don't think he's going to be low on. I think he's going to come probably closer to 15, 20%. But yes, I think he's scoring a touchdown.
Screw it, John Oliver, Ed Oliver, whatever the hell his name is. I'm going with him. All right, guys, throw us a like on the way out. We appreciate that. Subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Help us out. Get us to our goal before Thanksgiving. We appreciate it. We'll see you for Sunday Night Football. Who knows? What the hell is that? Do you know what Sunday Night Football is?
I don't know, man. I can't get past the fact that it looks like I'm going to play laser tag right now. Like, what the fuck is up with my camera?
See you guys later.